Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiamiyu Mubaraka, and today we are going to be discussing how to cut this very lovely Caribbean dress. You can call it a gypsy dress or a tired dress, as you like. It was really loved by my offline students, and virtually all of them made it for Eid. So I made one too for a client. So I was thinking I should show it. I made a video of it, but I lost some of it. So in this video you're going to be seeing two different fabrics. Don't be confused. I just had to make up with the lost one with this polka dots, but the original video I made was the green, which I lost a part of it. It's the same design, it's the same measurement and the same thing, so don't get confused when you see me making one part of the video in green bottom green dress and the other part of the video as the polka dot dress. So let's get right into it. You need a couple of measurements. You need your gown length, you need your bust waist length, and every other necessary thing that I'll be linking in the bio. So looking at this, you need your upper bodice, which is the shoulder to the waist measurement or the half length. You need your tire height and your tire length. So this is a picture of how your fabric layout should be by the time you finish cutting, the first tire being smaller than the second tire and the second tire being smaller than the third tire. So having said that, the full length, to get your tire height, the full length minus the shoulder waist, feel free to pause it to understand better, but this has given us what we need. So I'm going to be taking my tire height as 16.5 inches. Each tire will be 16.5 inches long. So feel free to pause to read and understand, or to go through and understand. It's a bit of mathematics. So the tire length, the first tire length is supposed to be times 2 of your waist measurement, or times 1.5 as the case may be. The second tire length, I made it a times 1.5, and the third tire length, I made it times 1.5 because that is what my fabric could accommodate. So looking at it now, I've cut, this is T1, the first tire. I made it into 16.5 inches length, which is the length. When I open it, it is 32, which is the waist measurement multiplied by 2. So that is what I'm going to be having. Let me just adjust the camera so you can see properly. Yeah, so you can see as I tagged each fabric. So that's tire 1. So tire 1, that's tire 1. If you open up this tire 1 and you measure the length, you would see that it is times 2 of the waist measurement. So here now I'm having the height of the tire. I'm taking measurement of the height of the tire, making sure that I have 16.5 inches on each tire. This is to ensure that after taking all the allowance, we still have the exact length of the dress. So now that's tire 1. So I cut a fabric for the bodice. So that's tire 3 and that's tire 2. Just make use of refer back to the mathematics, the little mathematics I did there, and I'm just showing you the mathematics again. Just refer back to the mathematics and you get how to cut out your tire measurements. So now let's cut the bodice. If you don't know how to cut a proper bodice, you can check how I made my basic abaya. I'm going to be linking it in the description box, so it should be showing somewhere on your screen before the end of the video. So the first thing you want to do obviously is to create a straight line kind of stuff. The half length of your measurement is what you're going to be using to create the bodice, and as with the basic abaya, you're using almost the same thing, only that you are using precise measurements. Another thing to note is that this dress is a free dress. It doesn't have a zipper. I used a rubber band at the waistline to hold it. So I'm going down with the shoulder slope, the neck width, my standard neck width. I use 3x1 and 3x5 for this video. I like to use that. It doesn't expose the neck too much, and you can rock a small hijab on it if you're not the big hijab type of person. So the shoulder slope is very, very important. And I already, in the basic abaya video, I already talked about how to define the armhole depth, which is what I'm going to be defining right now. So if you have not seen it, that's why I said it is compulsory for you to see that video so that you can understand in depth what I'm doing here. So I'm defining the shoulders, the armhole depth here. So now I'm going to just take the bust measurements and add an allowance. So the twist in this is that the same measurement I'm putting on the bust is what I'm going to be putting on the hips, on the waist, because I'm going to be adding an elastic waistband to make it easy for the person to wear it and for it to be fitted. So the elastic waistband is what would shrink the waist of the dress. So now I'm just going to insert what I put at the bust. The same measurement I put at the bust is the same measurement I'm going to be putting at the waist. You're going to understand it by the time we finish sewing and everything if you don't understand it now. So I'm just showing you that it's still going to shrink and it's still going to cover the waist. So you just want to shape your armhole by, you first of all divide your armhole depth by 2. After dividing it by 2, then you link those 2 points that I'm pointing at. You link them with your armhole curve or any curved item you have around you, or you can just use a free hand like I do sometimes because I'm more of a free hand person. So but you do that when you're actually sure that you get your right. Then you get your neck curves in place. Get your neck curves in place. I'm getting my neck curves in place. I'm getting my neck curve in place. So now the next thing that you want to do is to go ahead and cut. First of all, as a principle, like I did in the basic abaya, you want to first of all cut out the back piece before you cut out the front piece. So I'm cutting out the back piece, as you can see. That's the first thing I am doing. Cutting out the back piece first. Cutting out the back piece first. So now I'm going to detach the back piece away from the front piece so that I can have this thing to cut. I can easily just cut out the front piece separately. So I'm just going to do that now and cut away the front piece. So I'm trying to align it properly so that I can get my And by the way, I used the crepe fabric for this tutorial. You can use a chiffon. You can use a lycra, but it will be kind of too heavy because of the volume of fabric that this brings to play. You have to use about 4.5 yards to 4 to 4.5 yards, depending on how voluminous you want it to be, or depending on your body weight or your height. So depending on how you want it to be, but Caribbean fabrics, they are Caribbean designs are fabric intensive. So I have my back bodice piece and my front bodice piece already. So I'm just going to keep that one side and I'm going to cut my sleeve. So for this sleeve, I cut out a sleeve that has a rubber at the edge. So like I said earlier, I'm still going to refer you back to the basic abaya where I cut the armhole. The arm, I explained in details how you cut out the sleeves. So but in this case, it's going to be a bit different. You're going to see the difference soon. So but I did something for this abaya. I went ahead to measure what I have on my armhole, which I did for the same thing for a basic abaya too. I did the same thing. So I'm measuring what I have on my armhole so that I can know what I want to. If you have watched the basic abaya, you basically understand this step. I don't want to go into details so as to save me energy and time to explain better on other things. So let's move straight into it. So now, just like you did for the upper bodice, you're going to the same measurements that you used for the armhole round, the same measurement you're going to be transferring to the lower part of your sleeves, because you want to put a rubber, you want to have space for the rubber. Eventually, unfortunately, I lost the video of where I fixed the sleeve, and the polka dot fabric wasn't enough to fix a sleeve, so I just left it that way. But when you go to your machine, all you just have to do is to pipe the edges and insert a tiny elastic rubber about 0.5 or 0.25 inches, and then you'd insert it and then you sew it on both sides. You have a kind of like puffy sleeve, or a sleeve where you can just pull up for ablution or anything that you want to pull up the sleeve for, and it gives a different fitting. So let's get into sewing. So to sew, you first take to your machine the two upper bodies. You join both sides of your two upper bodies. You can join the shoulder too, but not really necessary at this stage. It gives you even more flexibility with your fabric when you're sewing it. Then the next thing you want to do after sewing both sides is to go to your sewing machine. You know, your tires are one piece, so just you just join that center back, and you'd run a loose stitch, the loosest stitch on your machine. You run it all around, then you'd pull it to form a gather. If you don't know how to gather, maybe I will take a separate video on that, how to gather your fabric. So now this is the polka dot. That's where I lost the video. So this is the polka dot fabric. So I've gone ahead to put a running stitch on my thing, and I'm showing you how I pulled it with the thread, although it's not so obvious. So you pull it till you get the exact measurement on the waist of your bodice is what you're pulling. You keep pulling till you can see I've over pulled, so I still want to pull it more. Make sure that the gathers are evenly distributed, like I'm doing with my hands. I'm trying to gather it evenly and put it on the fabric to see if I have the exact. I don't have it, but I don't want to waste your time, so I'm just showing you what you're supposed to do. Just ensure that the gathers goes from one end to the other end. So this is what it looks like after you have gathered it. Sew it to the bodice, and you have this beautifully gathered fabric. So notice that the back seam, I aligned it with the back of the dress just to give it a lovely finish. You can align it at the side, but I prefer to align it on the back of the dress. So the next thing you want to go ahead and do your second tire. It's best for you to label your tires so that you don't mix them up, because you can easily mix them up, especially if there are more than one, if there are more than 2 or 3, because you can have as much as 5 tires for your dress. It's going to depend on how full you want. So my abracadabra went on there and I fixed the second tire. So let's just go ahead and fix the third tire. So look at it, I'm still maintaining that center line for the back. So this is the third tire, which is obviously longer than the second tire. Yeah, so here we have it. We already have the full 3 tires. So the full 3 tiers, we already have it. So I'd already gone ahead to stitch the edges of this thing. So now I'm about to attach an elastic rubber to the waist. So I'm just showing you just get an elastic rubber that is enough, that can go around your waist easily. That's what you do. Then you'd flip your clothes inside out. Ensure that you have prepared the waist area by serging it or finishing it off as you wish. Like in this video, I had already weaved it so that my rubber doesn't interfere when I want to weave it. So you just pull your rubber. Ensure that you pull your rubber as you sew. If you pull your rubber properly, it forms this gathering and it gives your waist a definition. Sure you get. So now my waist is defined, as you can see, and I can pull it and wear it anywhere I want. So this is the neckline. So for the armhole, you just fix your sleeves. Please check the buyer video. You will see how I did it. So but for this, I don't think I'm going to be fixing a sleeve, so I'm just going to be ending the armhole round and that. So the next thing you want to do is to finish off all the edges, all the raw edges, with either a serger, a weaving machine, a baby lock, or you can just pipe it with a bias tape as you like, or whatever is available for you to do. So here we have it, guys. This is our lovely Caribbean dress. You can try to make one. When you make one, please subscribe to my channel and let me know if you're having any difficulty making one. You can also follow me on my social media page at Pellymovie to tag me when you make one, and I will see you in the next video. I would also like you to make suggestions of things you would like to see on my next video. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.